already.
All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the MulletCast, the podcast where business and pleasure collide. My name is Evan Balmer.
What's up? It's Mike Mercia.
What's going on, Mike? How you doing?
I'm good.
Awesome. Today we are joined by Carey Balogh. Carey is the founder and chief groupie of Brand Groupies. Check out Brand Groupies online at brandgroupies.com, on Instagram and Facebook at Brand Groupies. What's going on, Carey? How you doing?
Good morning, guys.
morning.
Thank you
How's
so
everyone?
much for having me.
No problem. And I'll just throw out also find the Brand Groupies podcast on iTunes is where I listen to it. Is it available anywhere else?
Spotify and now Google Play.
Sweet.
Thanks to Ming's direction.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. That's how I found you, is through your podcast and Instagram. Came across you, and I'm definitely a big fan of your podcast.
Thank you. Well,
So-
right back at you guys.
Thank
Cool.
you.
So I'm glad you were able to come in. I heard a joke once. A stand-up comedian was saying, he's like, the kind of cycle of life in stand-up comedy is you start your own podcast, and then basically you go on every other comedian's podcast.
Yeah.
Like sort of what you do.
I feel like we're family.
Right. So it's kind of like a shared universe thing to do is you start
Absolutely.
just going on everybody's podcast.
Yeah,
So I'm
I
glad
love
you're
it.
here.
Well, thank you. I'm honored to be here.
No problem. So I guess we'll start tell your backstory a little bit. You worked heavily in fashion PR, studied in Italy. How did you get into that?
Let's see. Well, I was a journalism major at the University of Maryland,
Right.
and I was studying PR, and I didn't know, what field I wanted to go into, and I actually ended up at a job fair and interviewed for a fashion PR firm. So I kind of started interning in fashion, producing fashion shows behind the scenes. And my real passion was Italian. That was my minor. So
Right.
the goal was to mix PR and Italian. And then I got involved with fashion. So I said, oh, that would be awesome to, work for Italian designers. And
Right.
that led me to, living in Milan. And it all
cool.
kind of
That's
went
awesome.
together. So it was mainly the Italian thing was my passion. And the fashion kind of was like, oh, I love fashion. I wasn't like a fashion victim. Like, I have to be in fashion. But it just kind of fell into place.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So do you speak some Italian?
So I do un po'. Ho vissuto a Milano. I have family in Calabria in the southern
cool.
part as
Nice.
well. So
That's awesome.
but give me some wine and I'll be speaking a lot
That's
more.
right.
I won't stop. But you have
That's
to
really
practice.
cool. So your family, do you have Italian background? Is that why you got interested in it?
I do. So I was third generation here in America. So my maiden name was Migliaccio,
Right.
which means black pudding, actually. So, that used to be my screen name, Black Pudding.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah. And so I just loved learning about the history. I mean, my grandparents didn't speak Italian.
Right.
But I loved going back, visiting the cousins, and just exploring our history. And it really, was something I was excited and passionate about.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to do a lot of work in Italy years ago.
Okay.
And it's the same. Like I got there, I don't know if I really had any Italian in my blood, maybe, but I was like, oh my God, I'm home, man. Like this place
Yeah.
is amazing.
Right?
Like,
I
yeah.
know.
Like I just felt like that connection there. It's a
Absolutely.
magical place. So how was it going to school there? Did you have to were you taking classes in Italian?
I was. So what happened was I went right to Manhattan to start working in fashion, but I still had that desire to live in Italy. I'd studied abroad in Florence, and I was ready to sell candles on the street. Like I was going to do anything. And so I looked into it, and I tried to apply for jobs. It was so hard, to find a job at, as an entry level
Right.
PR person. So I found the Marangoni Institute, which is, a fashion school. And that way I was able to get a student visa. And so I signed up for a year master's course in fashion promotion.
Right.
Okay.
So that way I could go to school, get the student visa, and then of course I interned for everyone I could, at the
Right.
time, and I just was I was working 3 jobs. I was paying back my college loans, but I was just so happy to be there, and at least I had a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I did get hired by the PR firm I interned for, and I ended up staying about 2.5 years
That's
total.
cool. Right.
So it was a great way to meet people, as
Right.
I arriving by myself in Italy, and it was crazy fashion school. It was
Right.
really like a runway down the halls,
Oh, really?
And in
That's
Milan, it was really intense, and you would run into designers like local. Like I'd say, oh, there's Giorgio Armani at the mall, at the local
Right.
mall. Like it was such a small community, and even the taxi drivers would be like, oh yeah, that fashion show's starting at 2. I know, and like everyone knows what's going on in
Wow.
fashion. It was just such a crazy experience.
That is cool.
Very intense, but it was a great starting ground for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Was it hard to leave after being there?
It was. It was. I think I was there when the lira changed to the euro.
Okay.
And so, I had a lot of bills to pay back home, and I had an Italian boyfriend at the time,
Right.
and so it was either I was staying there forever,
Uh-huh.
or I had to make the move to come back. And I think I really deep down missed my family, as great of an experience as it was. And it was hard to make ends meet. I was teaching English, babysitting, interning.
Wow.
And, some of my fellow students were, backpacking and traveling, but I still had a lot of bills,
Right.
from home because I was in my mid-20s. So I was, a little bit older than some of them. So,
Right.
yeah.
Do you
at the
still go
time-
back?
I do. I went back a few times, since then, and hopefully we'll get there again.
That's
in
cool.
a year.
So what did you come back to? Was it a job that you were coming back for, or was it just I'm going back home and now I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do when I get back to the States?
I think my goal was always to work for an Italian company, and I felt that I needed to learn Italian to set myself apart. So I
Right.
felt like I needed to learn the Italian first, then come back to New York and work for an Italian designer and travel back and forth. I
That's
think
cool.
that was my ultimate goal.
Right.
And ironically, I get back to New York, and I started working for Vestimenta, which was an Italian company that owned the license to Calvin Klein collection.
Okay.
So I did get to go to the Italian trade shows, go back to Florence at PT, and so that was my goal, and I could
Right.
speak Italian to my counterparts because I was working every day with the Italian office.
Gotcha.
And so that was my dream.
That's cool.
Broken Italian, but it was
That's right.
it was what I wanted to do.
Right.
Yeah.
There's like 2 words that stick in my mind from my experiences of working over there. One was like, it was either, I think, domani. Does that mean tomorrow?
tomorrow,
So
yes.
it's always like domani, like,
Domani.
we'll deal with it tomorrow. And then the other one was like magari. And like,
yeah.
which was like, you kind of like everything,
magari,
like
maybe.
Like everything in Italy is like, yeah, maybe, like.
maybe tomorrow.
Exactly. So it was always like, so our joke, like being over there, was like we ended every sentence with magari. Like
Magari,
you'd make like your
and,
best laid plan, and then it's just like, well, we'll see. Who knows? Maybe.
We'll see. Yeah, it was very, very like that.
So what did you bring back like from that experience to working in the U.S.?
It was really interesting. I think I had such a wider, mindset as far as PR goes, because before I was working just with New York PR, and when I was there, I worked for a PR agency and I handled the international press. So I literally had to work with editors in France, Germany, Spain, and just see the differences. And even though you were in Italy, the Italian editors were a lot more casual and laid back than the New York editors,
Right.
which was interesting. I thought they would be like super Italian,
Right.
almost standoffish or something, but they were really, really cool. And it was just neat to see how the different markets worked. And the
Right.
Germany market, it was very,
Yes.
I don't know, very organized.
Right.
And, working with just all the different European countries was just so cool. And to bring back that knowledge. And then when I, worked here and worked with the, international editors, I had such an understanding of where they came from and what their goals were for their different publications. And that was all in the PR world back in the day.
Right. That's pretty cool.
That helped.
So how many years did you do PR in New York?
So in New York, let's see, I interned starting in '95 myself, and then I did PR up until I guess 2010.
Okay.
I was always in PR.
Right.
Yes. So
That's cool.
yeah, back and forth.
Right.
It's changed so much now, the PR world. But
And then at some point you end up in Brooklyn and you open Frolic, which sounds
Yeah.
like a kind of magical place.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. It was, and after doing corporate PR for so many years, I wanted to always do my own thing.
Right.
And so that was a way to balance the time I thought it was a balance. You know, my family, I was pregnant with my second son. So while I was pregnant, I was starting on the business with my co-founder, who also was a new mom and worked in the fashion industry.
That's cool.
And, you know, we thought, how could we stay near our, you know, house and well, in Williamsburg, it wasn't far from the city, but just do something where we could balance, you know, being a mom and then, you know, have a business on the side. And I think, you know, as you become a mom in New York, your options were very limited. Like you had to go to these ball crawl plastic places.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, with, you know, fast food. And so there were so many creative types that were used to working in more sophisticated industries, media, film, fashion, what have you. And so we really created a space that was a little bit higher end for, you know, new parents with the rock and roll edge.
That's
to
cool.
feel fun, to feel like you didn't lose your identity while you have your kids. You could listen to music. You could like meet other moms at the cafe.
That's cool.
So that was our goal.
And what was it like starting that?
That was crazy, crazy experience. I always wanted to do my own thing. I didn't know what it was, and it was my neighbor who approached me and said, you know, you have the PR background, and she had sales and designing background, and so she approached me with the idea, and I just knew. I was like, that was it. It was the timing. Williamsburg was just coming about, you know, and so. For 2 years, we worked on it, but we did it, you know, we really did it the crazy way, like the right way. We could have started small.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, was it full blown right away?
Or
was
it we were like, we're going to get a 5,000 square foot space on the waterfront in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Like, I don't want to tell you my overhead every month. Like, it was just scary.
Right.
And I had never owned a business before. I mean, I had a baby in black line for babies, like a little whatever that sold in local stores. But we always had, you know, big ideas, and you know, to find investors. We didn't have money or trust funds. Like we hit the pavement. I remember I was like breastfeeding, like giving a pitch to investors, and it was insane. But we were so passionate, and that's what I tell everyone. I just said, if you want something bad enough, you know, you can make it happen. So we worked on it for 2 years. I worked on it full time. You know, I sacrificed. We didn't go on vacation. I didn't, you know, in the summers, I didn't even come to Jersey. I maybe came to the beach once. Like we were like working, and I would work like I had, you know, at night, 8 p.m. after the kids went down to like 1 or 2 in the morning. You know, full on. So it was every little thing from scratch, learning operations, cash flow statements, and all of that goes on with a business. So it's you definitely have to be willing to be passionate and give it your all, like all in.
And you said you had a clothing line, Baby in Black?
Yes.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
I
Some
couldn't
Johnny
find
Cash.
any baby black black baby clothes for my kids. So I, of course, as a PR person, you're like, okay, I need a concept. I need something that, you know, sets it apart. So it's sold in a few stores in Brooklyn. But I had to make the decision, okay, we're going to do Frolic, you know, all in. So
was Frolic, was there a lot of red tape too, like dealing in the city, and then because it involves kids and childcare, was that a nightmare a little bit?
Yes. So we had to find out all the laws. Like so we ended up doing a play space because the kids, if you're the adults on the premises with the kids, if they're under, I think it was under 5 or something at the time, it was okay, you know, as long as the parent was on the premises or a nanny. So, so we ended up being a membership-based play space, offering classes, birthday parties, camp, after school, you know, cafe, and then we, you know, to market it, we did the whole rock and roll theme because that was authentic to us. Like my business partner was like such a concert goer, and we used to have play dates in my basement in Williamsburg, and there was all rock and roll paraphernalia there in the basement, and we would all be jamming. So it was kind of like it came from that, and we both were really passionate about that angle and introducing music to the kids.
And it's definitely different.
So
having a rock and roll play space for kids.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It was.
I like what you said though. It's like you become a parent, you don't suddenly lose all of your own interests
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
identity. Like,
exactly.
So that is cool. Like, you can still be yourself.
And then it's like we were like, no to Barney. I mean, Barney, I think was at the end of the Barney, but
I'm so happy Barney's gone.
it was like so. So we created our own kids band because we also felt to set us apart. You know, we need to have some other cool things. So we
Right.
had all these rock and roll musicians who were really amazing musicians in crazy rock bands, and they would play to babies at 10 a.m. in the morning.
That's cool.
That's
And then we had our own album, and
That's really cool.
we would do a 3-piece band in every class. So we always tried to differentiate ourselves instead of just having one guitar singer, literally 3-piece band
That's
in
cool.
every class.
And some celebrity mothers got involved,
And-
right?
Yeah, we were lucky to have people. You know, Kate Hudson would come
Right.
every time she was in town. Katie Holmes. The whole band from Muse, well, the whole band, the singer Matthew and the drummer,
That's cool.
they
Very
came a
cool,
few
yeah.
times. So it was before social media, so it was
Right.
kind of like I didn't take Kate's picture when she was there
Yeah.
because she came there as a safe space. We
Right.
closed it down for her. Like it was like we made it really special. But it was
cool.
cool to see my son playing with her son. They're just
That's so
jamming on the
cool.
guitar.
Right.
But you didn't do pictures back in the day, so I snuck some with them in the bus.
Right. That's right. That's
It
really
was
funny.
A whole different world.
Yeah. So it's like
Yeah.
your only outlet would be like page 6, maybe spotted something.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You know?
Yes, yeah.
That's
It was
funny.
a good thing to talk about.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool. So how did
So-
what was your exit from Frolic like?
So it was interesting because we did this and we didn't have an exit plan
Right.
in our business plan. So I always recommend that to everyone.
That's a good
We
idea,
did
actually.
we checked off everything, operating agreement, everything. But I think our play space, we were doing great, but Williamsburg was changing, and we were the first play space on the waterfront. And after us, then Smorgasburg came in. Smorgasburg, that big outdoor food fair. The ferry decided to come in,
Right.
like right in front of our play space. I mean, it was incredible how we got there first, and then next thing you know, 2 other play spaces came in. Like not even like 5 blocks away, like 1 block away,
Right.
and another block away. So literally 3 play spaces in a row, and then all the high rises were going up on
Right.
the waterfront. So there was a daycare across the street. They had to actually move because of the high rise, all the construction and the
wow.
dust. And so anyway, we were just analyzing, like, we could keep going at it. As a business owner, it was really crazy, all the things that you go through. Like the grocery store next to us, the meat refrigerator was backed up to our classroom wall. So
Right.
one day we had meat
No
juice
way.
Oh, no.
coming through the wall into the baby classroom.
Oh, my God.
That's just one example
Right.
of being a brick and mortar business owner.
Oh my gosh. That's
So we're fighting with the neighbor. We're like, we have babies. We can't have
Right.
raw meat. Oh my God, and it smelled like it was like crazy. So there were so
nuts.
many, so much going on.
I can
and
imagine like the first time you see it, you're like frantically
We're
checking
like,
every kid.
I
Where's
know.
Timmy? Oh my God.
There's blood everywhere.
spraying. We're like spraying, like putting towels along the wall. Oh my
That's
gosh,
insane.
it was. If I could tell you the story. So, and also our kids were getting a little bit older. It was 5 and under. So, our oldest sons were getting older, and personally, we really wanted a house, and my husband travels a lot, so he wanted a backyard, and my whole family was here, and I
Right.
grew up here. So we decided to, kind of look and see what our options were. And of course,
Right.
we had some options, or we had some ideas to franchise it and do all this. But I think at the time we were looking for a partner. And so we found it in the Children's Museum of Manhattan.
Right.
And it was, I think, a great thing that we made so many things proprietary to us and custom, because if we just bought things off the shelf, we never, it wouldn't, and that didn't have the branding
Right.
of a rock and roll play space. It never would have been attractive to,
Sure.
to other partners. So we ended up selling everything and licensing it to the Children's Museum of
Oh, that's
Manhattan.
cool.
So it kind of, they replicated it there. They, bought everything. So it was a great happy ending. And also we had a membership-based model. So a lot of kids couldn't come to Frolic because it was membership based. You had to have
Right.
like a year membership, and that was really the best business model for us.
Right.
So this way it was accessible to thousands of kids,
Oh,
and
that's
that
cool.
made us so
Yeah.
happy
Right.
because so many schools went there, and it just was a great, transition, and
That's really
it
cool.
made sense personally, and so I felt like we could check it off, and
Right.
it was a great thing. They were great partners.
That's
so.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So did you find yourself back in Jersey after that?
So I did, yes. So I was commuting for a while on the boat to Brooklyn, and which I enjoyed. I thought that was a fun way to get out.
It's
You know,
not bad, right?
not bad. And then I just was here. I did a few things, like for Lake House. We did a holiday show at the Stone Pony for kids. And,
Right.
It was a lot of fun. And I was just trying to figure out, really my direction, because I've done PR, events, marketing, and people were coming to me for different things. But most of all, people were introducing me to people who were starting new businesses. And
Right.
they said, you have to meet with Carey to go for coffee. So I was going for coffee like 2-3 times a week. And just, I guess helping people not do the mistakes I did. And I said,
Right.
oh, I could help you. Like, don't do that. Like, I did too many. I had, was off in different directions, and stay in your lane. And I felt that I could help them with the PR mindset
Right.
and the new business and the small business experience. So that's when I decided to start consulting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And that's when Brand Groupies was born.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's cool. So part of what you do is obviously branding, right? So you have that background. And I don't know if Ming's able to do it or not, but if you do like a side by side of like my Instagram and the Brand Groupies Instagram, like this is like a clear, what did, you can see who the branding professional is and like who the hack is, right? Because your branding is so spot on Brand Groupies. Like for your, like I admired a lot your podcast. Every photo is in the same spot. It's beautiful. Well, we take photos in the same spot too,
Yes.
but like
Yeah.
we're a hot mess. Like so, if you scroll through, no, nothing personal.
No.
So like if you scroll through my pictures, it's
awesome.
like we always have like it's always a different look, except for the constant is the mullet.
Yeah.
So probably early on, like I think maybe the first mistake was the name choice, because now we're stuck with it, and mullets are branding. But you have like your branding is really cool. It's like iconic images. Like there's a lot of Rolling Stones. I guess are you a Rolling Stones fan?
I am. I do like the Stones.
All right.
Yes.
And everyone's in the
Yeah.
same spot with some of these iconic images, and it
Yes.
looks cool and it's consistent.
Yes.
So what would your advice be if we can get a free like branding lesson?
Yeah.
What should we do?
Oh, is this the picture you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
Yes.
like every guest is in like a very
With
nicely
the red,
staged.
it's supposed to be like backstage.
Yeah,
kind of
totally. It's very.
feel.
It's really.
It is very cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
But some consistency. But I love your mullet theme. I have to say, I love it, and I love that you pick that, and it is engaging, and you incorporate that throughout everything.
Right.
So
It's a lifestyle.
I think
Totally. Mike actually watches Joe Dirt like.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then daily.
I had a Joe Dirt cover band at my wedding.
No way.
yeah,
That's
a
killer.
lot of cover songs.
That's
That's
sweet.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's actually another goal of mine, is to have that Trans Am like from
Uh-huh.
Joe Dirt. That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
sweet one with the T-top
Yeah.
stuff.
Totally.
You know,
They had like
that's-
the mullet.
That's a
wigs.
killer one. All right, so
I think you guys. I mean, I think that what you're doing is awesome, and
Right.
I always do the first session when I meet with entrepreneurs or people want to rebrand, is we do their brand pillars.
right,
So kind of what sets them apart. So we would, just
Right.
go in and like, who's the face of the brand? It's you guys,
Right.
because you're different, and it differentiates you from other, people. So it's, the wow factor also. And I think the mullet is so fun, because
Right.
that's like, that's what sets you apart,
Right.
and
Right.
then your product is is a podcast, which
Right.
is, cool, and you also have interesting, guests on and,
Sure.
and stuff like that. So, but I think the mullet and you guys are the brand,
right,
and you could, definitely expand upon that. But I think the mullet has legs. It
right.
does.
I'm getting a mullet tattoo.
I-
Yeah. No, I was looking at like
be sweet.
American traditional.
Amazing.
Yeah. Like a skeleton
Amazing.
with a mullet would be
Right.
sweet.
I love it.
It's pretty funny because it's sort of something. I mean, like part of the mullet concept, right? Is like if we talk to you strictly about your business and kept it very dry, it wouldn't be
Yeah.
that fun to listen
Yeah.
to, right?
Yes.
But obviously, like you do a lot of interesting things that makes you who you are. So to me, that's more fun to talk about, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So that was part of it. But it's also like something I learned in Italy. Like the first time I went there, I was that hyped up American, like,
Yes.
we got to work, we got to get this done. Where is everybody? And it was like August and like literally
Oh,
everyone's
no.
gone. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like
yes.
this sucks. And then I finally realized, like it dawned on me, like these people have it right. Like we call it the reverse mullet, which is like
Yes.
the party in the front and the
Yep.
business in the back. You know?
Yep, yep.
So it's like,
love it.
life and family and enjoyment, everything's first, and kind of business integrates with that.
And the
right?
more people that we have on, I'm realizing a lot of people are living the mullet.
Right.
You know,
yes.
it's they're passionate about their line of work.
Yes.
So there's not much as a business front where it's kind of just one awesome haircut.
Right.
Yes.
It just flows.
That's right.
I love it.
There's no
it's
line
great.
of division between the mullet.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like it flows, like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
said. So part of what
love
you
it.
do with Brand Groupies is you have a mastermind program going on right now.
Yes.
How does that work, and
Yes.
how do people get involved in that?
Well, it kind of came about because I've been doing one-on-one strategy sessions to be more accessible to entrepreneurs who might not have crazy marketing and branding budgets. And I love it, love working with people from the early stages on. And I wanted to create something that has, a few people doing the same thing and create that energy and that, that momentum. And really brainstorm and get that feedback from others who are in a similar stage.
Right.
So I'm so excited about it. We launched our first one last week, so it's for new brands, and so it's called the Start Me Up Mastermind.
Right.
And I really handpicked the people to be in it, and it's a small, intimate group. But we have people who have established businesses who are starting either a brand new brand or they are starting a new, marketing or new revenue stream of their
Right.
business and
Okay.
or a new product or service. And so it's a great way to get people to market faster, because what I've seen with a lot of my entrepreneurs is they might spend a year working on a brand. It's like, oh, well, my husband's coworker does logos, and this one, my neighbor,
Right.
they do websites. So by the time it's just all over the place, and this is a way to really get you on track. And I have like a checklist of what you do first, to really establish your brand
Right.
quickly and efficiently. So because your time is so valuable,
Right,
and
totally.
to really get the best, return on investment for your time. So the mastermind group, this one's running 3 months. It might continue depending. We have such a great group, and everyone is like so pumped
Right.
to be there. Like we stayed like an extra half hour. Like we're
That's
just
cool.
like everyone talking and sharing ideas. And I'm really excited about this model, because I really think that it's a great way to have people meet each other. Because I was always introducing people. I love introducing people and
Right.
making intros. So I'm like, now we can all be in the same room and really, dive deep into your brand versus one-on-one. Sometimes it's hard to dive deep, or they don't have the budgets to do so. But this is a way where you can go deep, and it's not going to kill your the bank, and
Right.
a way to be in the same room with other like-minded, people and peers,
Right.
and like get to the next level as quickly as possible.
That's cool. And then are you amazed by what people are doing, like in this area?
Yeah, there's so much cool stuff, going on, and I think it's trying to get them together. So
Right.
when I lived in Williamsburg, that was kind of my inspiration. Like you would walk down the street, we ran into guys who started the meatball shop at the pharmacy. We were both getting, our notarized at the same time. Like,
Right.
oh my God, hey guys, what's going on?
That's cool.
And so many people came out of Williamsburg, and you were always meeting people, and on the street. And here, I don't run into people as much as I used to, and
Gotcha.
feel that energy. So it's trying to find those people, create that, that environment where you
Right.
can share ideas and get excited.
That's very
like
cool.
that.
So is there another one starting after this one?
Yeah,
When will that be?
so absolutely in quarter 2 in April, there'll be another one starting, and I'm also looking to start other ones with other topics. So I,
Okay.
have some people who have established businesses who really want to have a group to talk to, because
Right.
they're at the top, they're CEOs, and they really don't have people to bounce ideas off of in a safe space.
Sure.
It's it's hard
Right.
talking to your partner every night
Right.
about your ideas,
Right.
and it's a great way. So I'm actually looking into other groups and topics that would make sense.
That's
and
cool.
would value people's time and get the most out of it.
Right. That's very
Yeah.
cool.
But yeah,
So.
business owners need that opportunity. And like you said, in New York, there's people walking all over that are,
Yeah.
that are doing something. It's a little harder to engage with other professionals and entrepreneurs in the area.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, like you said, it captures an energy. People start getting
Yeah.
excited. They're excited by what other people are doing.
Yeah.
And it's just the ideas that will probably come out of it are
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's very
so
cool.
I'm excited.
All right. So in your spare time, you also are in a band, Mamadrama.
Yes. Yeah. that could be my full-time job.
I love that.
I know.
That's
Believe
what
me.
I'm really passionate about.
Me too. It's like band and podcasting.
You're in a band too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I love
I'm
it.
also my segue into bands was
Yes.
my daughter goes to Lake House.
Okay. Yep.
I get the mailing list thing that's like we have a no experience adult band starting. I'm like, all right, sweet, I'll check it out.
Sign me
So
up.
my background,
Yes.
I always sucked at music, love music. Like my
Yeah.
earliest memories are listening to music constantly, and ended up working in the music business for a long
Oh,
time.
no way.
Never thought I'd ever be like on the other side playing anything. And
Yep.
then night one, so I started with bass. I
Okay.
figured that would be because I took guitar lessons for a short time as a
Sure.
kid and sucked.
Oh,
like
come on.
bad.
I don't
right?
believe it.
So, so I was like,
don't
all right,
either.
bass. The strings are a little fatter. You know,
Yes.
I remembered not having the nimblest of fingers. So I'm like, maybe that'll be easier.
There's
and
less.
less.
Yeah.
And so I tried it, and it's awesome. So I'm on like. Big Gig 2 for me is coming up.
I know Asbury Lanes. I'm going to
Yeah.
try to come.
Wait, when is that?
February, I want to say like
8th,
around
9th?
8th, 9th, 10th
Yeah.
ish.
You gave 3. You got to know the date. Do you
No,
know?
it's 3 nights.
Oh,
so
nice.
it's like I'm on the Sunday, whatever that Sunday night
Okay.
is.
Okay.
Asbury Lanes will be killer.
Yeah, that's so
Will your
cool.
band be playing at the same event?
So we're not doing it this time. So we are going off in a different direction.
Right.
But we were at Lake House for 3 years.
Right. Oh, really?
And Lake House is my favorite, so it's great. So I go there for songwriting.
Oh,
now,
that's cool.
And it's great. But we are actually starting to book gigs.
That's killer.
Starting in the spring. So
Nice.
Nice.
So
That's so cool.
3
Yeah.
years ago, what were your guitar skills like?
gosh,
When you
so
started going to Lake House?
So of course my kids were going there,
Okay.
and I'm like the biggest fan of Lake House, and so we would hang out, and all my mom friends would hang out, and then of course John, who is he's always like 3 steps ahead. He's
Right.
like, I see you guys in a mom band, and we're like, oh come on, like what are you talking about? And then we're like, ooh, that
would be
would be fun, but we were like we didn't believe it, right?
Right.
So then he's like, no, come, and so we tried it one night, and I had taken guitar lessons in New York
Okay.
for 2 years. I took acoustic
Right.
guitar, and I just loved my playing like singer-songwriter songs and this and that, and I always felt I missed the boat. Like
Right.
I always felt like I chose dance lessons over piano, and
Yeah.
I always felt like it was too late. So we were inspired. We started playing, and we're like, this is awesome, because you only we would play 2 chords, and at Lake House they make it so easy. Like you play
Right.
2 chords, but everyone's playing those 2 chords, and you're like, wow, we sound like a band.
song, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not like you have to be like playing all these licks
Right.
to sound like a unified
Uh-huh.
band. So
Totally.
it was really a a
you
lot
got-
of fun, and we stuck
You guys
with
have a
it.
Facebook page.
Oh yes,
I
yes.
love your logo.
that-
Is sweet.
yeah, it's awesome.
Totally. Ride the lightning,
Little-
man.
exactly.
So I was checking out. There's a video online of you at House of Independence
Yes.
playing some Nirvana. That was a good version.
Yeah, I think
of
that was our first show, so no, no judgment.
Hey, it's a no judgment zone around here, right?
Yes.
So that's killer.
I love the kid art.
The kid art,
Yeah,
yes.
that's
So the
sweet.
kids are our inspiration,
That's so
and
cool.
all the kids are in, love music, and we have a lot of, I forget how many kids there are, total. So we're loving it, and are gonna start. We started to book out a little bit, but
That's
now
cool.
we what we really wanted to do is nail down a set list.
Okay.
And so really, instead of learning all different songs, we wanted to like really
Right.
zero in on like 10 songs and do it
Like
well.
the best set.
So I've been practicing my Paranoid lead for like 1,000 times.
Sweet.
And our time is so limited, so in order to do that, we we had to like, all right, let's pick these songs.
Right.
And
So
Like,
you
just
don't
go full in.
practice at Lake House anymore? Do you rehearse like somewhere else?
so we rehearse, we jam.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you're doing songwriting, so you're trying to work in some original Mamadrama material.
So yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's cool.
And it's so cool because Lake House has so many amazing musicians that are your
Right.
teachers. So Joe from Jackson Pines is my songwriting teacher,
Oh,
and
that's
he's
cool.
so inspiring, and so I love doing that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And I got a Brand Groupies guitar pick. Do you use these?
So I admit
Yourself?
I don't use.
These are just marketing.
I
Throw them out
use.
to the crowd. Yeah.
I go to Russo's and I get the one with the the grip on it.
Okay.
I like the grip.
That's cool.
You know.
We have to get your logo. Well, I mean, you need Mamadrama.
Yes, we
pics
do.
Also.
We've got to work on that merch.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So
Any dates you want to throw out there
For the band,
Yeah.
we're looking at April and May, so nothing confirmed
Okay.
yet. But we'll be updating. Instagram's probably the best.
Your
Mamadrama Band.
Okay.
MAMA
Check you guys out.
Cool.
drama.
All right. Yeah, I got to go in there too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you, I guess you said it. You felt like you missed the boat musically, but
Yeah.
it's not true, right?
No, and we always hashtag it's never too late. Never too late because
Right.
it has helped me in so many ways. Like just getting up on stage in front of people. Like I can't believe that I do that now. Like
Right.
3 years ago, I had trouble public speaking. Like, and now now I'm like playing for like a good 20 minutes, and it's incredible how it's helped me in a lot of aspects of my life,
Right.
and even in business to be able to get up in front of people and
Right.
do that and not be like a perfectionist about it, and just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this. It's not
Right.
perfect, but we're just gonna keep going
Right. Totally.
until it it gets there, and have fun.
Sweet.
Not take ourselves too seriously.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Because we're not going on tour.
Not
We
yet.
do want to go
Not
on
yet.
tour to the assisted living facilities in Florida in our retirement age. That's
Right.
our goal.
So that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Get a
Totally.
bus.
Totally. Old Winnebago, just rolling around.
Yeah.
That would be killer.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it is really. I'm the same way. I thought I missed the boat. I'm like, I never have a shot to do this, and so I'm still in the like the beginner band. So we're doing the lessons, the band practice,
Yes.
everything together
Yep,
at Lake
yep.
House, right? So I have a
Shredding.
couple moms
Oh,
in my
yeah.
couple moms in my band.
Awesome.
Couple older dudes. One guy's like retired and always
Yeah.
wanted to play guitar, so he came out. But the other night we started playing Highway to Hell.
Oh, amazing.
And it was just like the smile on everyone's face in the room, because you could see everyone who was
Yeah.
like, this is what I always wanted to do.
Yeah.
And like suddenly I'm doing like, oh my God,
It's
this is
magical.
cool.
Isn't it magical?
It totally is.
I know.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I'm so happy you're doing it.
So it's a good time.
It's great.
Yep.
And I'm sure you're awesome.
Yeah, I gotta watch you play
Great.
bass.
Yeah, we'll get out at the lanes.
I'm coming, yes.
I'm pretty stoked to play the lanes, because like obviously went to so many shows back in the day at
yeah.
that place, so it's
Absolutely.
cool. That'll be pretty neat.
Yep.
All right, cool. Anything else you want to talk about before we?
Yeah, I think no, I'm loving the podcast, and I always like to tell people that they can start their own podcast too.
That's right.
At a shared universe.
Exactly.
So it's like I feel like we're instant family.
Right.
It's,
Yeah.
it's what Ming's created. It's
That's
awesome.
right, man. We're all family around this table here.
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
So it's cool.
So,
That's
thank
very
you.
similar to music. It's like you never thought you'd do a podcast or be a
No.
broadcaster.
Well, that's it.
You know,
I
and-
never would have thought
now you
that.
are.
Ming inspired me.
That's
and,
right. Yep, it's very cool. It's funny
Putting
because I
yourself
was
out there. It's not
I
easy.
discovered the journalism department late in college,
Okay.
so I became later on like a journalism minor.
Oh wow.
But then I was like, I'll probably never do any of that
Mm-hmm.
again either. So it's like cool to you can still do those things.
Yeah,
and-
and the new media, what's out there now, it's so different, the podcasting.
Yeah.
Right, totally. Any good guests
Other
lined up
things.
on your podcast we should be looking out for?
So let's see. Well, tomorrow we have Dr. Angela, askdrangela.com. And so we've worked together, and I helped with her personal branding, and she's really doing great now, and
That's
doing
cool.
some new marketing initiatives as an influencer.
Sweet.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
so that's cool, and I'm excited to, continue to share the story of entrepreneurs in this area, because people are doing such cool things, and I
Right.
think, the podcast is such a great way to get it out there.
Totally.
Yeah.
I agree. I forgot to ask, do you have a favorite guitarist, or is there some song you really want to learn still?
Oh gosh, well I am. Diehard Journey fan, and so
Nice.
don't make fun.
That's all right. I
But-
just saw Journey and Def Leppard not too
Did
long
you?
ago.
I was
Yeah.
there too.
Were you?
Maybe I
Sweet.
saw you
That was a
there.
good one.
Yep. I was there. And I met Steve Perry once when he was in that movie Monster, I think it was.
Oh,
I
yeah.
went to one of the openings, and he just wanted to talk about his acting
Right.
debut, and I was like, "But Journey." So Don't Stop Believing is not it's not easy,
Right.
but that's good. But I love Nancy Wilson
Uh-huh.
from Heart, because I just am so inspired by
Right.
women guitarists and women who rock, and there's so many
Totally.
out there. And I looked at my Instagram and I just follow women guitar
Right.
women bands, and I just think it's so cool. So I love her, and I just love all I love Sabbath and
Right.
classic rock and all that
That's cool.
stuff. So,
Sweet.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
fun, man. Well, I'm
Yeah.
excited. All right, we'll keep an eye out for some Mamadrama
well,
gigs
thank
this spring.
you.
Once again, Carey, thank you for coming in.
Thank
you so
for
much.
having me, guys.
No
so
problem.
much fun.
Check out Brand Groupies online at brandgroupies.com, Instagram and Facebook at Brand Groupies. Check out the mastermind coming up also, starting this spring. You can get info on your website, right?
Absolutely.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Carey. I'm Evan Balmer. Find me at Evan Balmer.
Mike Mercia at mortgageguy_Mike. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks
you,
a lot.
guys.